Happy Saturday. How are you doing? How are you navigating through these really wild energies we've been having these last weeks? Maybe you've been feeling the pressure not just these last weeks, but months or years now, even. If that feels like the journey you've been on, you might be in a second phase of awakening. So, what is that? Spirit tells me that in 2027, we're going to have massive numbers of people moving into and through their first awakening. And one thing that we know is common in these deeply transformational human phases of life is that they can feel quite unstable. Now, this feeling of instability comes from beliefs that have been held as truth suddenly being challenged. What is true? And that can lead us to ask, who am I and what is my place in the world? Now, when the ego is challenged in that way, it can create a lot of fear, and that can make the journey even more challenging. So, the antidote to that is to have someone who can hold safe, sacred space, people who are embodied in their integrity and authenticity, people who have wide open hearts that can listen with compassion and empathy and not judge. That is what we are being prepared for. So if you are feeling this current phase of energy, then likely you are in the second phase of awakening and being prepared as one of the first wave of helpers to go into 2027. Now, what does this second phase of awakening look like? Now, many of us have been experiencing a process that feels a little bit like an audit or a life review. Now, this process is in no way meant to be dismissive or feel dismissive of all of the massive amounts of work we've done to this point. But this phase is highlighting the healing that we still have left. Why is that? Because if we still have places where we're quite sticky or tangled, then we might inadvertently put that into the container that we're attempting to hold for someone else for their transformational process. And we don't want to do that. So Spirit is really highlighting all of these areas for us now. Now, there's no expectation that all of this work will be done by 2027, but the awareness itself is important. Now, the second aspect of this awakening has been pushing us to develop a process and embodying that process as a practice. So this is what I mean. Things are going to continue to get turbulent. It's going to be chaotic. Can we hold our grounded center and respond from a place of calm and love? That is what this is really pushing us to do. So the first place, one of the best places to start to build that foundation is to develop the skill of recognizing the state of the nervous system, recognizing where we are within our capacity, and then moving rather automatically to grounding and centering. So this second aspect of the awakening is really putting the pressure on us to recognize when we are in the storm and when we need to go back and ground and center and start from that place. So if you are in this and you feel that you are struggling a little bit with the process, I have something that I can offer that might help. So I have taken my personal process, developed and worked through along with Spirit and Journey, and I've developed it into a class. Now this class is divided up over three modules, and it covers a total of 27 classes. Now the first class is starting in just a few weeks, so it's starting on September 21st. We're going to really leverage that autumn equinox along with the full moon in Virgo, this emergence of a new self. We're going to harness that, and we're going to start with the first module, which is called Build Your Roots. Build Your Roots is a 6-week course that is going to go into this practice of grounding and centering. So we're going to get intimately familiar with our nervous systems. We're going to learn to track our capacity, and we're going to practice a variety of somatic and breathwork techniques that can help us ground and center. So we're really working to build that stable foundation within us from which we can do any of the work that is needed to be done, whether that is inner or it's holding space for another. Now, from after the first 6 weeks, we're going to move into module 2, and that is called Ignite Your Light. So this is when we're going to start going into the inner work. We'll start doing shadow work, looking at limiting beliefs and conditioned patterns. What unhealed and unintegrated wounds and traumas are we still carrying? And what healing needs to be done and integration needs to be done in our ancestral lines? And we'll be doing all of this with advanced breathwork techniques, advanced somatic practices, and shamanic journeying, building on the first 6 weeks where we really developed our anchor, that grounded, centered place. Finally, the final module, the third module, is called Rise as a Varan. Now, what is a Varan? Varan is a word that I created to embody the idea of a sacred space holder, because that is a mouthful. So a Varan is someone who holds sacred space for someone else without judging, with love, overflowing love and support. So if this sounds like it could be of help to you, then I encourage you to go to my website. It is rowan-wellness.com/spark. Again, the first module will be starting in just a few days on September 21st. Now, I should also add, these classes will be online Sundays at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but they will all also be recorded. I've also included free retakes for any of these modules if you wish to take the course again in the future. Each module also comes with a workbook, some private one-to-one sessions with myself, and also a community of support to assist you in your journey throughout the entire course and after. Now, again, if this sounds like something that could help you move through this second phase of awakening to help you develop your process into an embodied practice, then I invite you to join us. I would love to see you there. Either way, I wish you so much wonderful luck and love on your journey as you go forth. And I thank you so much for all of the work and the beauty you bring to the world. Oh.